Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be reviewing tips for the removal and replacement of the crankcase pressure sensor in this 2025 Jeep Compass with the 2.0 liter engine. If you find my tips to be helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment. Now let's get started. The crankcase pressure sensor is located in the center of your screen near the tip of my red pointer. Symptoms associated with a faulty sensor include poor fuel economy, rough idle, poor emissions, and a check engine light with trouble code P0106. So you might ask, what does this part do? Well, it monitors the pressure in the crankcase. This sensor is designed to prevent crankcase leaks associated with a positive crankcase ventilation valve that is stuck in the closed position. Our supply list is pretty short. You'll need a new sensor if needed, a T25 hex tool, mass airflow sensor spray, and a small flat tip screwdriver. Please see other items in the description below. So let's go ahead and move forward with the removal and replacement of the sensor. So using our T25 hex tool, just gonna loosen up this screw right here. And I'll let you know that this is a very sturdy screw. And so it tells me that there's a lot of pressure involved at this location, okay? Next thing we're gonna do is unlock the electrical connector. We'll just get in here and I move that little gray tab out to the left. Okay. And then I like to attempt to remove the electrical connection when the part is in place. Okay, so pressing down, and pulling out, and it doesn't work, and I knew it wouldn't. So let's wiggle carefully, pull this out, and what I'm gonna do with my flat tip screwdriver is very, very carefully wedge it in between the sensor and the electrical connector. Just a little, and then press down, give a little pressure, and pull it off like that, okay? And here you have it. Here is your crankcase pressure sensor. And so let's go ahead and inspect it from top to bottom. And so these are your 3 electrical prongs, and you see that they're nice and straight. Looking at this area right here, it's flat. There's no bulges. You can see the part numbers there. And I'll also provide a part number linked in the description below. Okay? You see that this tab is not cracked. And note that there's a metal piece here. Okay? That tells you can tighten down pretty good on this piece here. Let's move down to this area right here. You can see there's an O-ring. And I'm gonna tell you, this O-ring is pretty sturdy. It's somewhat harder than other O-rings, okay? And if you look down the middle, you can see that there's a sensor way in the back. What I wanna tell you guys is that if you get the check engine light, before you replace this sensor, you always want to troubleshoot and try to figure out a solution as to why this is actually occurring. What I want you to do is go back and look at my video on the positive crankcase ventilation valve. That valve is located underneath this filter cover right here. This sensor and the positive crankcase ventilation valve work together. Check the positive crankcase ventilation valve to see what's going on. It's probably stuck in the closed position, which is causing an overpressure in the crankcase, which is triggering this sensor. Okay, the sensor is not likely to have a problem. And as I mentioned in my video, the positive crankcase ventilation valve should be checked at a minimum every 30,000 miles and then likely replaced at about 90,000 miles, okay? Let's say the positive crankcase ventilation valve was stuck, but then you came over here and you notice that this was very oily, very dirty, and you really couldn't see that sensor in the back. What you'd want to do is use your mass airflow sensor cleaner. Just get in here and clean that sensor off. Okay. This dries very quickly. I don't know if you can tell, but just that quick, look how shiny that sensor became. All right. And that's really all I wanted to show you in this video is one, let you know that this sensor works directly with the positive crankcase ventilation valve, and two, you should always attempt to clean this sensor before replacing it. So let's go ahead and move forward with the installation of the sensor. Okay, got it in place. I pushed it down. Go ahead and install the bolt. Okay, I have it snug. I'm going to tug on it, press on it with my thumb. Make sure that O-ring is seated properly. Give it a tug. And now I'm just going to come in and tighten it down a little more than snug. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at our female portion of the electrical connector. And there's a gasket here, and I see a little dirt on the gasket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. Actually, it's not dirt. It's like it's a piece of rubber. So I'm not going to mess with it too much. It looks like this, that's how the gasket is made. Anyway, make sure that gasket is in place and it's not deformed. The female connectors are nice and straight. No issues here. Let's go ahead and slide this connector on and listen for the click. There you go. And let's lock it down. There you go. Well, folks, that wraps up this video on the removal and replacement of the crankcase pressure sensor for this 2025 Jeep Compass. I hope you found my tips to be helpful. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, drive defensively.